Happy Tears Day. Let's just say it's the day after the night before. So, whatever you like to call it, Halloween was last night. The thinning of the veil between worlds. And, well, I think it's fair to say that, I know, you have things on your mind, you make a decision, and you can see what happens if you choose to. I thought about making an offering last night, but I didn't. I'd kind of done one at the weekend, and while I know there maybe could have been some ancestors or recently departed friends I could have reached out to, I made the decision not to. As much as anything, it's really sort of, I don't know, leaving the options for perhaps other people reaching out to those people, those ancestors, those spirits. I guess I didn't feel the compulsion to reach out. It's not that they're not welcome. They're always welcome. And sometimes I'm a great believer in sort of the truest use of power is in not using it. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And I guess I didn't feel that I needed to reach out. That's not to say that there's any disrespect in that. It's more a case of, I guess, remembering the spirit as much as the gods know what is in your heart. And I don't know, there's no compulsion, and I wasn't compelled. It is interesting to observe a couple of things, though, that I should mention. The first is, it was overnight, it was pretty lousy weather. It was quite windy. So did I have a restless night? Yes, I did have a restless night. And the only thing to really mention about that is sort of when my wife's alarm went off, pretty much the rough wind we'd had in our neck of the woods more or less came to a stop. Now, I'm not saying my wife's alarm has magic powers. It's just, I don't know, an observation that sort of I found intriguing. I did have an interesting dream, and I suppose another reason to talk about it is because I've been reading something by someone I know who himself was talking about dreams and whether you can sort of break down someone else's dream for them, or that, as he said, and I agree with, is it is for the individual to work out what their dream represents for them, because no matter how much we or another person might try to translate or work out what the dream represents for you, it's never something that is directed at anyone else other than yourself. So dreaming, I guess, was on my mind, and it was I don't know, an interesting dream. I'm still sort of, I guess, working it out myself, or if there's anything to work out for it. Um, Me and my wife were looking at adopting a baby, and in the process of looking at baby that doesn't have a name, didn't have a name, we ended up being joined by a small girl that we agreed to adopt as well, whose name was Lisa. Um, there isn't much else to it other than that, and it's something that I'll now sort of, like I say, think on. Whether there's anything to it or not, I don't know. It's so to some extent, it's just a dream, and there are things for me to process through it that will make sense to me, and possibly to some people who know me. I guess finally, now we got sort of that out of the way. As it is Tears Day, I would normally like to conclude how my experiences have been this week with my runes. And this week I had chosen to connect to Isa and Ansuz. And I think, as seems to be the norm for working with runes, that influences have made themselves known or been influential in helping deal with information, news, and coming to decision and sort of moving forward and helping. On Saturday, I got some sad news, which I won't go into too much, just sort of a good friend passed away, and someone got in contact with me to let me know, which I appreciate. And obviously I've had to process that, and as you do, sort of offer condolences and your wisdom, what you have, to grieving people. And in looking at that, it's very much sort of, as much as I chose those runes to work with this week, they were very much an apt choice, and while they seem pertinent, they also feel quite comforting and strength giving. So it's been quite an interesting week, following on from a previous interesting week, I guess. And I guess that is about it. There's a lot of things to take in, muse about, work through, and make some decisions about. And I'm still to go down the Odin castrating himself rabbit hole. I've not forgotten that. So I guess that's about it for now. So thank you if you've watched. Do press the like button or subscribe or whatever. I appreciate you watching my content, and I will see you tomorrow on Odin's Day. Do take care. Goodbye.